The Republic of Burrbarious by Ted Bilden, Grayson McGee, Jake Zinn, and Andrew Mouch.
Hi, I'm Andrew Mouch.
And I'm Jake Zinn.
And we are here today to talk about the Republic of Burrbarious.
The Republic of Burrbarious? I've never heard of it.
Well then, we've got a lot to learn. Burrbarious is an evolutionary democracy that in the past has had theocratic and communist forms of government.
Those are totally different types of government. How did it transition through all of those?
Well, let's go to Grayson to give us the historical development to figure it out.
Burrbarious originated from a large amount of scattered tribes. Two tribes, the Vocus and the Minstrels, soon dominated the region, each conquering their way to the middle. In the 1300s, they fought a long civil war, of which no side won. In 1403, they signed a treaty combining the two groups into one theocratic nation. This nation was glued together with the newly found religion, Magism. Magism has no deities, but is focused on bettering oneself for the community. The divine chieftain ruled during this time as a strong executive who was given supreme power. During its theocratic reign, Burrbarious thrived. In 1800, after countries made contact with Burrbarious, but trade didn't occur in large amounts until 1867, with the discovery of large amounts in oil. In 1886, gold was also discovered, leading to more foreign nations establishing companies within Burrbarious to reach these resources at the expense of barbarian labor. Li Yao rose during this time due to the theories of communist rule to unite the nation against foreign influence and wrote a manifesto that was distributed to the people. In 1908, the revolution by the people occurred. Li Yao became the president and gave himself the title of revolutionary leader, with Bruno Petra as his next in charge. The economy became based around the direction of the Politburo, controlling the redistribution of resources. Li successfully implemented 5-year plans around the collectivization of resources in agriculture. In 1917, Li became ill, and Bruno Petra became the superior leader. He then created a position higher than the revolutionary leader, the communist leader. His first failure as leader was the establishment of a quota system for communities that led to falsely inflated production numbers, ultimately leading to a mass famine. Bruno established the Barbarian Committee for Security, aka the BCS, an agency similar to the KGB in Russia that used violence to suppress the people. There also was a strong state corporatist system to keep the citizens in line. Bruno Petra left the country economically in ruins. The next supreme leader started a series of economic transitions toward privatization that helped save the quickly tanking economy. This also led to the rise of an oligarchical class that controlled the politics. In 1959, Liefer Brand did away with the system of state corporatism, leading to the people voicing their wants for a continued political opening. The next supreme leader, Tom Zinn, followed these requests in order to establish legitimacy, and began a series of transitions to democracy. He established a unicameral legislature, an independent judiciary for the purpose of exiling the oligarchs, and eventually transitioned the supreme leader to the president. In 1971, the first series of elections occurred, ushering in a new era of the Republic of Burrbarious. Thank you.
Now let's get on to the social demographics of the country.
The two largest populations in the nation are the Vocals and the Minstrels, each representing 30% of the nation's ethnic makeup. The other 20% is made up of various amount of immigrants from other countries from recent years seeking labor.
Why is there such a large amount of migrant workers?
The migrant workers have flocked to Burrbarious in post-communist years for the large amounts of economic opportunities in oil and manufacturing, with an ever-expanding need for labor.
What language do the people of Burrbarious speak?
Well, Barbarians speak Barbarian, plain and simple. Small ethnic factions still speak Vacu or Mistral, but a majority of the people communicate through Barbarian.
How old are most people in the country?
A majority of Barbarians are under 40. This is due to people being able to focus more on families during post-communist times rather than focusing on their basic survival.
Shown on the screen is a map of the Republic of Burrbarious. Now here's a map with geographic features.
Andrew Mount, reporting live from Atlanta, the largest vital island. The geography of the Republic of Burrbarious is very cold due to its northern location. Northern and southern mountains isolate coastal cities such as Atlas from the capital city of Vale. The capital city of Vale is located at the intersection between the two rivers, the River of Prosperity and the River of Peace. The two rivers intersect the country and provided irrigation for the early civilization. To the north is the island of Patch. The island of Patch is largely uninhabitable due to its icy conditions, but it has large oil preserves which may be tapped in the future. The southern islands are the Vital Islands. The Vital Islands have a warmer and more rainy climate. The Vital Islands are covered in bamboo forests. We also have the largest concentration of pandas in the world, which is where our flag derives from when we had our territorial dispute against South Carolina.
Hey guys, it's Mouch here to talk some more about Burrbarious' demographics. There is no official religion of Burrbarious, but around 35% of Burbarians are Magiists. This is an extension of theocratic times, and the religion itself is on the rise again. Around 60% of Burbarians are atheists, stemming from communist times when religion was not allowed to be practiced. The other 5% practice small indigenous religions. Politically, 65% of Burbarians are left-leaning. This is a direct result of Burbarious's frequent regime changes. Party allegiance and loyalty is not strong in Burrbarious, as political parties rise and fall with the charisma of their candidates. These parties are focused more around small issues such as immigration rather than economic and political issues because majority of Burbarians have similar economic and political ideologies. Currently, the most well-established party is the Burrbarious Globalization Party, which has held the past 3 presidents. This party is focused around the best interests of Burbbarious in its role globally and is therefore accepting of immigration and mass economic integration globally.
For our next part today, we will bring in Ted to speak about the government structure. Here he is now.
Thanks for having me.
Hello, sir. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Please sit.
Thank you very much. Today, I'll discuss Burbarious's government structure. Let's start with the executive, the highest branch of the government. This branch is made up of 3 sections: the president, the revolutionary leader, and the bureaucracy.
What role does the president play in Burrbarious?
Thank you for asking. The president holds the most power in the country. He originates from when Tom Zen transitioned the country to a democracy, transitioning the communist supreme leader to a directly elected president. The president holds official powers to veto legislation, call referenda, and is the head of the military. He is also generally able to push whatever legislation he wants.
Doesn't that add an authoritarian element to this position?
In a way it does, but this strong executive power is rooted in the previous roles of the divine chieftain and its theocratic government, and the communist supreme leader and its communist government. Just a quick overview of the electoral process for the presidency. Presidential elections occur every 6 years, with the first election being in 1971. In Burbbarious, there are always 2 rounds of elections. In the first round, a party candidate has to be in the top 2 to move on to the next round. In the next round, it's a runoff election between these 2 candidates, and this round always occurs even if a single candidate won majority in the first round. These presidents can serve for 2 6-year terms.
Ted, I must ask, what role does the revolutionary leader have?
That's a fantastic question, but I have to say it's quite a beautiful day outside. I'll explain it to you as we walk out. The revolutionary leader is adapted from communist times. The revolutionary leader always served under the supreme communist leader of the country. It plays a similar role today with the president by diverting tasks that the president has in the bureaucracy and basically lightening up his load. This is done through giving speeches as his main thing, communicating with other officials, and directing trips to other countries.
So on that note, I also must ask, what role does bureaucracy have?
The bureaucracy, fantastic, absolutely vital part of the executive, has the task of implementing and directing policy under the president for him to have. It's similar to how the revolutionary leader diverts tasks he has. Instead of him having focused fully on policy, they do research completely in how to implement that.
But what about the legislature?
Fantastic question, Mouch. Let's talk about the legislature. The legislature is a unicameral body called the Council of Chiefs. The Council of Chiefs is directly elected through a single-member districts. These single-member districts have a first-past-the-post system in which the winner takes all. How many legislators are there, Mouch?
168, sir.
168 is correct, Mouch. Great job. There are 25 legislatures per 7 regions, except the Vital Islands. These Vital Islands each have 6 legislatures per 3 main islands, totaling 168. Now, Mouch, let's talk a little bit. What check does the legislature have on the president?
The power to impeach.
Perfect, Andrew Mouch. You're on a roll today. The legislature has the power to impeach the president. This is done in a unique way, not seen in many other countries. The way they do this is they call a referenda. If the referenda nationally has a 3/5 majority to impeach the president, it then goes to the legislature. And the legislature, they vote on it. If this has a simple majority, so only 50%, the president is impeached and out of there.
What about the judicial branch?
Oh, hi there. Let's talk about the judicial branch. The judicial branch of the Magueist regime was based upon Magueist law. In the communist regime, there was no official judiciary. They had the BCS, which simply used fear tactics to eliminate anybody who went against the government. In 1965, Tom Zen established the first official judiciary in centuries for Burrbarious. This judiciary has 9 Supreme Court judges, and when it was first established, it was mainly to exile the oligarchs from the country so that they didn't have as much influence as they previously had. In the judiciary, with the 9 Supreme Court judges, they are appointed by the president, but the legislature has to approve them with a 2/3 majority. If they're not approved, the president cannot try to reappoint the same judge for the next time. The judiciary's main power it has is, while there's no constitution, it can overturn any legislature with a 7/9 majority. Because there's no constitution to base this upon, it's simply on whether or not they agree with the legislature, which is why they have to have such a large majority to overturn it. Hey, let's talk about civil society in Burrbarious. So, under the communist regime, civil society was attempted to be squashed. This was in the best interest of the politicians of the communist regime, so that the people did not rise up and rebel against them. When they realized that this was too hard, they created a state corporatist system where they sponsored very few interest groups so that they could control the people. These interest groups had relatively no representation of the actual people within them, and therefore created a more authoritarian form of government. In 1959, still under the communist regime, my boy, Leifer Brand, did away with this state corporatist system. This created an interest group system in which as many interest groups as possible could be created in order to best represent the interests of the people. These interest groups arose not around just ethnicities or religions or gender, but also around just hobbies and other interests that people have to better represent themselves. This interest group system now contributes to helping Burrbarious have one of the largest and most vibrant civil societies.
Jake's in here to tell you about Burbarious's political economy.
The Republic of Burrbarious has a free market economy centered around the oil and manufacturing industries. Burrbarious also has a thriving precious metals industry due to its large reserves of gold, silver, and diamonds along its mountains. Burbarious's economy under communism was focused on collectivization of resources and agriculture to provide for communities. During this, Burbbarious nationalized all oil production, precious metal extraction, and lumber industries in order to export. In 1949, Burbbarious opened up to foreign investment and began a series of transitions toward a free market economy.
Burbbarious soon became a hub for foreign investment in the manufacturing and oil industries, spurring on economic growth not seen under the communist regime. Burbbarious utilized mass labor to produce products in mass quantities for export, securing a niche role in the global economy. This niche role has helped Burbbarious to emerge as an economic superpower and has become a major source of offshoring for companies manufacturing as well as a major source of investment in oil. Burbbarious initiatives have not been successful so far in tapping the island of Patch's oil reserves due to inhospitable climate, but as technology improves, this could strengthen Burbbarious' status as a global oil exporter.
Burrbarious, Burrbarious, the finest in the world. From ashes we rise, sunset but light we hold, waiting for the sun to rise. Burrbarious, Burrbarious, the finest in the world. From ashes we rise, sunset but light we hold, waiting for the sun to set. Burrbarious, Burrbarious, the finest in the world.